Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV, 4th Street Baseball 2019 Mets at Miami Marlins. Scores 2-0 Marlins. We're in the top of the 4th inning. It's Robbie Cano, Michael Conforto, and Wilson Ramos facing Jose Ureña. So the first thing we do in 4th Street Baseball is take a look at this match section and to see who the matchup is going to be against. This is basically a matchup game. So we're going to look at the matchup. It's versus a lefty, so we're looking down at this column right here. Robbie Cano is a lefty, and Ureña is a righty, throws righty. So we're going to roll 5 dice. And if you roll them all separately, it seems like you're rolling a lot of dice, but it's 5 dice, 54. So 54 against a lefty is going to fall into versus the pitcher. So we're going to see quickly if it's versus a left-handed batter. First of all, we can look at Cano, right? Cano here versus a left-handed, right-handed pitcher is a 16. So a 16, and he's going to be a 1. So 16 minus 1, because whether it's a fastball or breaking ball, it's going to be a 1. Now, if the pitcher wins the matchup, which is doubtful, then we're going to read off one of these two columns, and we'll figure it out by looking at the chart. There's a chart that tells you. We may not need to look at the chart right now, so I'm not worried about that. I'm just going to look at the D20, and the D20 looks to be between a 1 and a 19, and it falls on the 19. So the pitcher is going to win it. And now we got to know if it's a fastball or a breaking ball, and this chart right here is going to tell us it's 1-1, so basically the difference is a 0. So it's 2-6 and 11-12. We roll a 19, so it's a breaking ball. We're going to look on the breaking ball side. And we're going to add the 2d6, which is a 2 and a 3 is a 5, and that's a strikeout. So Cano strikes out, and that is strikeout 1, 2, 3 for Ureña. Next up is another lefty, Michael Conforto. I'm going to throw the 5 dice. 32. If you're watching this and you have Sports Illustrated Baseball, I'm looking for a copy because I want to practice it. I want to learn to play it. 32, so just let me know. Reach out to me. I can trade you. I can give you cash. All right, between 25 and 33, it's going to be to the shortstop. Shortstop is Rojas. And Rojas is, I believe, off the top of my head, a 6. I could be wrong on that. Rojas is a 6. So infield is going to be a 16. Before it should have been a 17. I don't know why I looked at 16. It was a mistake before. Oh no, that was on my other card. Okay. It was a 16. No, I was right. All right. Just making sure. All right, so this is going to be to the infield this time. It's to Rojas, so it's 16 minus 6. Right? And that's a 10, and we rolled a 20. So that's going to be off Rojas' card, and Rojas with a 5. And you can see that here. We're going to look at the 5 at shortstop. Rojas is right there. Almost at the end, that's a 16, and that's going to be a ground ball and past him into left center field for a base hit. All right, so Conforto singles past Rojas. And here comes Wilson Ramos. So this time we're going to look on the right side of the matchup because this is a righty. And it's a 0-0. That's going to be in the power zone for Ramos against a righty pitcher. We roll, so it goes directly to the power column. And we're going to look at an 8 because it's a 6 plus 2. It's an 8, and an 8 is going to give us a 58. And a 58 results with a runner at first. 58 is a medium fly ball, runner out. So it's a fly ball center field. Lining it up is Brinson, and that's 2 outs. Another lefty. So we're looking at the left side for the matchup. Dominic Smith. Dominic Smith singled in the 2nd inning. We're in the top of the 4th inning here. That's a 19 versus a lefty, and a 19 is going to be right at the second baseman. Starling Castro, he's a 5. Infield 16 minus 5 is an 11. We roll a 6, so it is going to be off Smith. The 3 plus 6, that's a 9. And that's a, 60. It's a 60, but when the number ends in a 0, you got to add the position. It was hit to Castro. He's a 4 because he's a second baseman. So it's 64, and that's a hard hit ground ball right at Castro. He's going to flip to Rojas. 4-6, fielder's choice, and that retires the side. No runs, 1 hit. They leave 1. We go to the bottom of the 4th. You're watching 4th Street Baseball play through for a few innings. I like to play it a little bit every day. I get better and better at it as I go, as I play. All right, so it's going to be it's going to be Starling Castro. Brian Anderson made the last out. Starling Castro, Martin Prado, and Jorge Alfaro against Jason Vargas. Jason Vargas is retired 6 in a row, so he's doing okay. He's holding his own. Here's a pitch, and that's 0-1. That's going to be the power zone. So against a righty, so we're going to go against a lefty pitcher in power right here, and we're going to look at the 5, and the 5 is a deep drive, and that's going to be the second home run of the day for Starling Castro. And that is 3-0 Marlins. Next is Martin Prado, another righty. So we're going to be looking here at the matchup section. And that's a 0-1, another power matchup against a righty. We're going to look here against a lefty. And Martin Prado only had 2 home runs. We roll a 6, and a 6 is going to be a deep fly ball to center field. On the run is Ligares, and he tracks it down for out number 1. So Prado gives it a ride, but it's caught out there in left center field. So here comes Jorge Alfaro. Again, we're looking at the matchup on the right side. And then if we go to the batter card, it's going to be against a left-handed pitcher. And that's a 65. This is probably a pitcher matchup, and it is. So we're going to look at a pitcher versus a right-handed batter. It's 5 on both. So we're going to look at 19 minus 5. It's a 14. We roll a 20. So it is going to be off the pitcher. So it's a 20, which is a breaking ball. So we're going to look at this column. And it's a 3 plus 6. You add the 2d6. That's a strikeout. And that is strikeout number 4. Remember, this is 2019, so every pitcher gets a bunch of strikeouts. And here's Lewis Brinson. Brinson flied out to left field in the second inning. We're in the bottom of the 4th. It's 3-0 Marlins. And that's a 93 versus a righty. And a 93 is going to fall within the pitcher range. So it's a 5 versus a lefty pitcher. 13 minus 5 is an 8, but we roll a 5. So it is going to be off of Brinson. And we got a 1 and a 2, which is a total of 3. And that is a 45, which is, I think that's a hit by pitch, if I remember correctly. And it is. So Brinson gets plunked. Hit by pitch. And he's on at first base. Now let's try to steal with him. Let's see. Pitcher hold is +5. So that's not a very good hold. So that's going to be +5 to the jump. I believe it's to the jump. So that would be a 13 jump. So let's roll and see what happens. And that is an 11, so he does get the jump. And now the stolen base is a 10. And let's see the catcher. I think we got to look at the catcher as well. Ramos, I believe, is like a +2. So he'll get the +2 here. It'll be a 12. No, he's an arm rating of 0, so he's just at a 10. Just at a, where is it? It's up here, steal 10. I don't know that he gets that number. I have to look that up. But at least we know he's a 10, and he's going to run. And there he goes, a throw down from Ramos, and he is safe. No surprise there. So Brinson steals second base in scoring position. And next is JT Riddle. And then we got the pitcher. Do we walk JT Riddle here? JT Riddle batted 189. No, we're not going to walk him. All right, JT Riddle's a lefty, so we're looking at the left side. Actually, we're looking here, the matchup, left side of the matchup, and that's going to be a 96, which is going to be, oh, that's going to be a ballpark. Oh, this is a lot of fun. Ballpark is a blast. All right, let me show you how to do this. So we got to re-roll. I'm going to put the ballpark chart out and roll right on the chart itself. So let's see if Riddle gets versus a lefty. He's going to be a +5 power versus a lefty. So we're going to roll. Let's see what we roll here. Going to roll all the dice again, and it's going to be a 24. So we're going to look right here in section D, and we rolled a 10 plus 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that is going to be a double. I believe you could stretch it into 1 to 10 is a single. Beyond that is a double. You can stretch it into a triple. I'm not going to try to stretch it because I'm not there yet. So I'm going to leave that just as a double for JT Riddle. And that's going to score a run. Number 4 comes in. So it's an RBI. Scores Brinson. All right, and JT Riddle is on at second base with a 2-out RBI double. So good job. All righty. Next is Miggy. No, it's the pitcher. Let's grab the pitcher's card. So he's going to be batting. We look at this little section right here. So let's see what happens. Let's see what the matchup is against. Matchup is a 46, and he bats righty. So a 46 is going to be to the center fielder. Our center fielder is Vargas, and Vargas is a 4. So versus the outfield, 10 minus 4 is a 6. We roll a 14, so it's going to be off Vargas. It's going to be a 7 off Vargas. And Vargas 7 is a 78, which is a drive to center field. And that retires. Vargas is there. That retires the side. So fly out. But the Marlins pick up a couple more runs. They lead at 4-0. We go to the top of the 5th inning. All right, it's going to be Ahmed Rosario. Ahmed Rosario versus Jose Ureña here in the top of the 5th inning. Throw the 5 dice. It's 2d6, 1d20, and 2d10. It's a 44, and he's a righty. So we're looking at the matchup 44, and it's a matchup between 41 and 46 is the center fielder. Center fielder for the Marlins is Lewis Brinson, and Brinson's defensive number is a 5. So we're going to look at the outfield versus a righty pitcher. Is a 15 minus 5 is a 5. We roll a 15, so it is going to be off Brinson. 4 plus 5 is a 9. We add the 2d6, and we're going to look at Brinson. And Brinson with a, what is it, was 9, is a 98, which is a, look at this chart. And this one's easy to, I know it's a flyout, it's a medium flyout, center field. So 1 out, Rosario flies out, and here is Juan Lagares. Again, we're looking at the matchup on the right side because Rosario is a righty. And that's an 82. That's going to be a pitcher matchup. Yep, it's going to be a pitcher matchup versus a righty. So it's a 3 versus a righty pitcher. It's going to be 14 minus 3 is an 11. We roll a 13. So it is going to be off the pitcher. This could be a walk or a strikeout. And we have to see if it was a, we have to see if it's, a 0 is 2-6, and we rolled, what do we roll there? 13. So yeah, it's going to be a breaking ball. So it's a breaking ball. So we're going to look here versus a right-handed batter. We add the 5 and the 3, which is a 2d6. It's an 8. That's a strikeout. 2 away. And Vargas is coming up. Now, Vargas has gone 18 batters. Let me see how many can he go. And where do you look for that? Right here where it says endurance to the top of the card. You can go 23. I'm going to let him bat just because I don't want to make the change. And that's kind of how I played. It's kind of early. It'll force me to make a lot of changes. If I take him out right now, I'd rather push him a little bit. All right, so here's our pitcher. Vargas is up. And that's a 59 against a lefty. Bats lefty, so a 59 is on the left side of the matchup. A 59 is a pitcher matchup. It's going to be 1 versus a right-handed pitcher. It's a 5 minus 1. No, I'm sorry. It's versus pitcher. It's a 20 minus 1. So it's a 19, and we roll a 7. So it is going to be off of Vargas, and it's a 7 off of Vargas, and that's a strikeout. No surprise there, and that retires the side. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strikeouts for Ureña. That retires the Mets. We go to the bottom half of the 5th inning. It's a fun game. I've been playing it every night for 20 minutes, 25 minutes. What I do with Vargas, where I put him. There he is. Okay. Who's up now? It's the top of the order. It's going to be Miguel Rojas. Miguel Rojas is a righty, so we're going to look on the right side of the matchup. We're looking at reading the 2D10, which is 0-0. So that's going to be a power matchup right here. 4 or less is a power matchup, so that takes us directly to the power column. We add the 2D6, which is a 4 and a 6. I don't know if you can see that. There it is. You can now. 4 and a 6 is a 10. So a 10 off the power column versus a lefty. And we're going to scroll down, and that's a 79. I'm trying to remember these, so I'm looking at them. I know it's a fly ball. It's a drive, and it's deep. And back goes the right fielder, Conforto, to the track, and he hauls it in for out number 1. So Miggy Rojas gives it a ride, but it dies at the warning track. And here's Curtis Granderson. Curtis Granderson's 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored. All right, it's a 29 against a lefty. That's going to fall between the 25 and the 34. So that is going to be to the shortstop. And from memory, I know he's a 6. So versus a lefty, it's going to be 13 minus 6 is a 7. And we have a 12. So it's going to be off of Rojas. And what do we have? A 5 and a 6. That's an 11 off of Rojas. And 11 off of Rojas is going to be a hard hit ground ball up the middle. And Rojas gets to it, throws on the run, and in time. Yeah, no, that is Granderson. I keep on thinking is on the Mets. So because of 2015, he was on the Mets when. So anyway, that is not to Rojas. That is to Rosario. So I caught myself there because it didn't make any sense. Vargas, he ends up in Philadelphia. So these players move around so much that it's hard to figure out what team you're playing. So, all right. So it's let's try it again. And it's 29. So it is going to be against a shortstop, right? It is going to be against a shortstop. It's going to be against a lefty. So it's the infield. 13 and Rosario is a 5, so it's going to be an 8. It's a 12, so it's still off Rosario. The difference is that it's going to be 11 off Rosario, and that's going to be a 56, which is a slow ground ball, and Rosario charges it bare hands. It fires the first in time to get Curtis Granderson. So there's 2 outs. So the right guy threw out Granderson. It wasn't his own shortstop. It was the other team's shortstop. And the other team who was his team a few years earlier. And it's Brian Anderson now with 2 outs. And Brian Anderson today struck out twice. So here's the pitch from Vargas. We're looking at the right side because of the righty. And when it's in a 14 on the right side, and from 12 to 20, it's going to be the second baseman. Second baseman's Cano. He's a 5. So against a left-handed pitcher to the infield, 14 minus 5 is a 9, and we roll an 8. Look at that. So that means it's going to be off of this column on Brian Anderson. And we're going to add the 6 and the 5. That's an 11, and it's, what is that, an 80? And it's going to be an 80, I said it was to Cano, I believe, right? 14 versus a right-handed batter was to Cano. So it's going to be a 84, and an 84 is a line out. Oh, wait. 84. Yep, it's a line out to second base to retire the side. L4. And that was a little bit of a roller coaster ride. Every time Granderson comes up, I get totally thrown off. I forget what team I'm playing and what team I'm rolling for. All right, so it's the top of the 6th inning. Let's do one more half inning or one more whole inning. It's going to be Brandon Nimmo up. See if the Mets can get on the board here and get something going. Ureña can go, like I said, here's his endurance, 25. He's got 18. Here's a pitch. That's going to be a 50 against a lefty, and that is going to be to the right fielder. Right fielder, did I write it in? He's a 3. So we're looking at Nimmo against a righty to the outfield, 14 minus 3, and we got a 2. So it is going to be off of Nimmo against a right-handed pitcher, and we got a 5 and a 6 again for the 3rd time in a row, and that's going to be a 20, plus we're going to add the right fielder, which is a 9, so it's a 29, and that's a drive, and it's going to reach the wall. It's going to be played by Brinson. So Brinson plays the carom, and the throw to second base, not in time. So Nimmo starts off the top of the 6th inning with a double. And here's Jeff McNeil. He bats from the left side, so we're looking at the matchup from the left side. And that's a 63, and a 63 is going to be off the pitcher matchup. It's a 1 versus a right-handed pitcher. 17 minus 1 is a 16, but it's a 19, so it is going to be off the pitcher. So did he throw a fastball? He threw no, he threw a breaking ball, so it's going to be off this column, breaking ball column, and it's a 5, and it's a strikeout. So McNeil strikes out, and here's Robbie Cano. With a runner on second base, 1 out. We're in the top of the 6th. It's 4-0 Marlins. Here's the pitch, and that's a 19 on the left side because, again, Cano is a lefty. It's going to be hit to the 3rd baseman. 3rd baseman is a 6. So infield, 16 minus 6 is a 10. We roll a 5, so we're going to read it off of Robinson Cano's column, infield column. And we got a 7 there, and that's going to be a base hit. And we said that was 19, was to the 3rd baseman. So it's a base hit past the 3rd baseman. Now, Brandon Nimmo could potentially score here. There's only 1 out, so I'm going to hold him up. I'm down by 4. There's no reason to score him right now. So it's going to be 1st and 3rd. So Robbie Cano with a single past the 3rd baseman. And they give Nimmo the red light at 3rd base. And here is Michael Conforto. Michael Conforto struck out and singled. And here's a pitch from Ureña. So let's see if the Mets can pick up a couple of runs here. Drive Ureña out of the game. That's a 0-8 against a lefty, and that's going to be a ball hit to the pitcher. Pitcher's a 5. It's considered the infield, so 16 minus 5 is an 11. We roll a 7, so we're going to read off Conforto. His infield, it's a 6, and a 6 is going to be a base hit, another base hit. And that was to the pitcher's a 1, so it's going to be an 11. 1 run scores, and stopping at second base is going to be Cano. So Conforto picks up an RBI single. With 1 out, we got runners on 1st and 2nd. A home run here will tie the game. So got an 8, he's got a 20, he's got a 22. Ureña can go 25. I like to push him. I like to, Oh, this is a power shot. That double zero against a righty is going to be a 3 or less. 3 or less is a power shot. That tells us that we're going to go directly to versus the power column against right-handed pitching. And you got a couple of home runs here, not too many. But if let's look and see what our roll is going to be. We got to add the 2d6, and that's a 4. That may be a home run. Oh, he had one at a 2, he has one at a 3, but a 57 at a 4 is not going to be a home run. It's going to be, ouch, that's going to hurt. It's going to be a medium fly ball, and the runner on third is going to score. So that 4 outfield is a, in the power column, is a 57, so it's a deep fly to left field. And scoring, oh no, wait, nobody scores because it was first and second. And they're going to hold at second base. So nobody's going to advance here on this. I thought it was a sacrifice fly. My bad. So I had big hopes for this inning. But we're still not, it's still not over. We still got first and second, and up comes Dominic Smith. Dominic Smith had some power, hit 11 home runs and 200 at-bats. That would have been, over the course of the season, 33 home runs. Here's a pitch. He's a lefty, so we're looking on the left side of Ureña. It's a 20, and a 20 is going to be hit to the third baseman. Third baseman, we said, was a 6. So to the infield versus a right-handed pitcher, it's a 16 minus 6, but we rolled a 3, so we're going to read it off of Dominic Smith card. What do we read? A 3 plus a 6. That's a 9, and that's going to be a, it's going to be a 65. And the 65, my friends, is a hard hit ground ball to third base. Steps on the bag, and that retires the side. So the Mets pick up 1 run on 3 hits. They made it exciting, but nothing happens, unfortunately. So we're in the bottom of the 6th inning. Let's hopefully we can get a 1-2-3 inning out of Vargas. And then we'll call it quits for tonight. We'll continue this game tomorrow. So if the Mets can come back, it's 4-3. It's going to be a 39. Starling Castro's up, so he's a righty. So it's a 39. Is going to be to the left fielder. Left fielder for the Mets is a 4. To the outfield versus a righty is 16 minus 4 is a 12. We roll a 20. So it's going to be off of Nimmo. All right, I said 39 against a righty, and the left fielder, Nimmo. And we're going to, no, that's not the one. Let's look real quick. Nimmo, we roll a 3 is an 8. We're going to look at Nimmo, 8. It's a fly ball. And a 98 is a medium fly ball. But Nimmo in left center field hauls it in for out number 1. Here's Martin Prado. Martin Prado's a righty. We're looking at the matchup on the right side. Reading the green and then the white, a 61 is probably going to be a pitcher matchup, and it is. Versus a right-handed pitcher is a 5. Versus a right-handed batter. But now versus a left-handed pitcher versus the pitcher is a 20. And versus a right-handed batter is a -5, so it's a 15. We roll in 11, so that's going to be off of Prado. And Prado off the pitcher, we're going to read off this column. It's going to be a 4, and that's a hard hit ground ball right at Cano. Cano handles it easily and throws him out. Cano's pretty sure-handed there. He doesn't make many errors. And now it's Jorge Alfaro. Again, another righty. We're looking at the right side of the matchup. And it's a 20. And a 20 falls right on the second baseman. Second baseman today for the Mets is, again, Cano. Cano, I believe, is a what? He's a 4. So to the infield versus a lefty, 16 minus 4 is a 12. It's going to be an 8. We're going to read it off this column. We're going to read a 3 plus 1 is a 4. That's a base hit past Cano. 2-out single for Alfaro. And that is his second single of the day. What did he bat? He batted 262, not too shabby. And it's Lewis Brinson. Brinson's got a hit by pitch, a stolen base, and a run scored and flied out, so he's 0 for 1. Here's a pitch from Vargas. He's a righty, so we're looking at 94. That's going to be versus the pitcher. So it's a pitcher situation versus a righty, and it's a 5 and a 5. He's a left-handed pitcher. 13 minus 5 is an 8. We roll a 4, so it will be off Brinson right in this pitcher column. And we roll a snake eyes, and that's a 43, and that's a strikeout to end the inning. Guys, Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV, top of the 7th inning, 4-1 Marlins, 2019, 4th Street Baseball. See you soon.